Hello, good morning. Welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Here we are at 5:34 a.m. Central Standard Time, January 26, 2020, Anno Domini 2020. I wanted to start exactly 5:30, but I couldn't make it. Okay, but I tried. Now we have Johnnie Walker Red label. And then, in beer, there's the Chimay Red Premier, and this is their red label, Johnnie Walker Red label, introduced in 1909. Well, actually, there's the striding man. You can't really see it in this light. It's not dawn yet. It was called Old Highland Scotch, but the company, I think it was the grandsons of Johnnie Walker, they decided to kind of update the brand, and they came out with a new name, the Johnnie Walker Red label, because like I said before, that was just Walker's Old Highland Red label, Old Highland Scotch, and then Johnnie Walker Black label, the 12-year aged, kind of like Miller High Life. Until 1903, from 1855 to 1903, it was called Fred Miller Lager. They wanted to make a nicer name, so they came out with Miller High Life beer. Sky Styles. Hey there, my good friend. It's 6:34 here in Virginia, and I'm sipping on some Canadian whiskey. Oh, okay. Which brand? Which brand? Good morning, Mr. Ron T. Says Blue Ribbons. Good morning to you. Okay, so now the competitor is King Robert II. Could never find an introduction date on this. Never could. Only thing I could find out is that Ian MacCleod is a distilling company in Scotland. They bought the King Robert II brands in 1968. Okay. So they existed before that, but I don't know who made it. Okay. And I couldn't find out when it actually started. So sorry about that. Doesn't really matter, but this is the base model, the King Robert II. They're both aged 3 years. Both of these whiskeys are 3-year age. People are saying that Johnnie Walker doesn't have an age statement. Well, maybe many of them do not. Like I think the blue label doesn't. The black label's 12 years. But it says right here. Where does it say that? I know it says it. Yeah, it's so small though. I can see why people wouldn't see it. It's almost in micro print, micro compressed. Aged a minimum of 3 years. Now, if it was 4 years, they'd say it, wouldn't they? Okay, black label, yeah. Okay. Oh, you mean black velvet? Red label is great too. Okay, so it's embossed in the back with the striding man, King Robert II. Now, King Robert II is a line of liquor. There's a 12-year age King Robert II, which I've never seen. Now, I bought this big handle bottle glass too, not plastic. It's kind of green if you look at the glass, like a Coke bottle. A Coke bottle would be green. $18.99 at World of Beverage in Georgia, right off the Interstate 85. So I thought it was a good deal. This Johnnie Walker was $22, but I got a $4 coupon, so I got it for $18. And I was at Martin Wine Cellar yesterday, and I saw it. They had it for $17.99, or it might have been $17 even. So you can get the Johnnie Walker Red for about $18 if you're lucky. Normally you pay about $22. Okay. Ronnie, happy year of the rat. Thank you. Red label is the Volkswagen of whiskey. Yeah. That's a good car too. Made for the mass worldwide. Yes. It's King Robert II, Robert the Bruce. I don't know. All right. Too much about Scottish history. I know a little bit about it. Okay. So what they say on the website, I don't know how to use screen share on this. I don't think there is screen share. They used to be on the old Hangouts, but they kind of made them inferior. It says Johnnie Walker Red Label is our pioneer blend, the versatile one that has introduced. Crafted from the four corners of Scotland, it crackles with spice and is bursting with vibrant, smoky flavors, followed by a mellow bed of vanilla, a fresh zestiness, and the Johnnie Walker signature of a long, lingering, smoky finish. I did notice that. It's very rich. I heard people slagging on it. Like, I watched some video reviews. I try to watch every video review for it. By the way, most of them were positive. Actually, most of them were in foreign languages, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. But they kept saying, you know, blah, 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 blah. But it looked like they were positive. The English ones were positive. Now, there were a few video reviews, not many, but a few, they were slagging on it, saying, oh, it tastes like gasoline or adhesive on an envelope and all of this. And I was like, it doesn't taste like any of those things. It's almost like with these big brands like this, people get on there as a way to get style points on their channel. You know what I mean? Like, if you rip and dog a major brand, you can like build street credibility with like the cool people that only like the hard to get stuff and the real expensive stuff. You know, it's that kind of thing. And I'm not trying to build street credibility with the in crowd. Okay. Somebody said this morning, I got to answer the rest of my comments. I ran out of time. He's saying that I had always been open-minded since I started. And that has been true. I've always tried to be open-minded. I don't have an attachment to any of these products, aside from the fact that I like many of them. So I just, if it's real expensive, okay, I'll grade it. If it's middle range, I'll grade it. And if it's cheap, I'll grade it. Okay, no big deal. But other people don't approach it that way. But it's their channel. They can do whatever they want, of course. It's their life. A bestseller, it says, King Robert II blended Scotch whiskey belongs to our best-selling range of spirits with sales in excess of 500,000 cases per year. I've never seen it in Louisiana, so that doesn't mean it's not around here. I just haven't seen it. They're saying a consistent and complex blend of first-class grain and malt whiskeys, all of which have been given time to mature. Okay. Comprising malts that are typically older than those used in competitor standard brands. King Robert Scotch tends to be much smoother and more mellow. There's no age statement, but you know, I think it's 3 years, you know, minimum. But I should change my notes because I'm not sure about that. I know there's a 12-year, and we sure don't get the 12-year single malt. We don't get 12-year single malt. I was wondering if there was ever a grain whiskey Scotch, like all grain whiskey. Well, in fact, there is, because I'd like to taste all grain whiskey. It's called Hague Club, and that's what they don't use any malt whiskey. No malt, no barley malt. Only grain, like corn. So it's like, what would a corn whiskey taste like from Scotland? Well, there you go, Hague Club. You can get mellow corn from Kentucky. When are you going to make another breakfast beer review? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I was eating some grits this morning. Maybe when I buy some more eggs, then I can put some, like, because you know what? I made the grits with the corned beef hash, and I put some sour cream in it. And I had it so hot it kind of burned my tongue, though. But it was really good. And I had some hot sauce and black pepper and some spices that my daughter bought me, which really added to it. Robert the First was the Bruce. Okay. Have opened the blue label yet? No. But I plan to open it this year. I just have to go circle around. Like, I got to do this Scotch series, then the bourbon again, which is going to be can't remember which bourbon we tried, but it doesn't matter. And then a blended whiskey, and I only have one blended whiskey left, which is Kentucky Bow. I'm not going to go on a big search for blended whiskey. And American, I'm talking about. And then I got to do Canadian. Then when I get back to Scotch, then it's on. I'm going to be like Lisa, and Cult Jam with full force because I'm going to have the Johnnie Walker Blue Label. Okay, so we're going to pour the Johnnie Walker Red, this beautiful item. In my opinion. And then the King Robert II, which to me is not that great. It's all right. There's also King Robert II gin. There's King Robert II vodka. There's King Robert II rum. There's King Robert II, et cetera, et cetera. It's a whole line of liquor, you know, like Taka gin, Taka vodka. Or like we reviewed yesterday, Clubhouse blended whiskey. My friend David insisted that we review Clubhouse. And I said, well, okay. And then Jean-Pierre was like, I don't know if I want to keep drinking all this stuff, you know, because he had to take, well, he only had to, he wasn't driving back to Alabama. So I said, you don't have to worry about driving. And because Jean-Pierre came for his birthday weekend, it's his birthday today, with the beverage ramble. And we spent the whole day in New Orleans. We went to Dixie Brewery, which was sort of disappointing because they didn't have tours. They were all booked, so I was disgusted by that. Then we went to a national wildlife refuge and went on I guess you call it a hike. David didn't really want to do that. I said, well, that's fun, nature, you know. I mean, that's what I'd rather do, you know. And then we had some really good Chinese, Vietnamese food. And then we went to Sazerac House, and we kept doing all these things, you know, taking up the whole day. I've never encountered the King Robert so far. Well, you might run across. I love it when you make grits with eggs, onion sauce, and dark stout. Yeah, no joke. Have you tried the new Carlsberg Pilsner? No, I haven't seen it. Hello, Ron. Maxwell says, hey, Maxwell in Russia. You always find a Johnnie Walker Red label in J&B anywhere in the world, anytime. Is that what that says to you? Well, it says to me that they're very popular and that people like them. And they're not trash, garbage, filth, scum of the earth like some of these reviewers say, you know. But I mean, if that's what they think, fine, all right? But I don't think they're being honest. They're just trying to score points with the cool people. And if you want to be one of the cool people, you do a beer review and you slag on Budweiser. You do a Scotch review and you slag on Johnnie Walker. You do a Canadian whiskey review, you know, you're going to slag on what? You know the answer, Crown Royal. You do an American whiskey, you're going to slag on, talk about how horrible Jack Daniels is. And then they'll let you in their little group and y'all can hang out on social media and talk about how awesome all of y'all, each other is. You know, I'm not into that kind of movement. I was associated with people like that in the past and I didn't like it. And I didn't get along with them. Not because I was ugly to them, no. But they don't want to hear it, you know. It's not, they don't want to hear that unapproved speech. You know the type. Okay. So, but that's not my angle. All right. Here we go. I mixed them up so well. The Johnnie Walker is, well, they're both gold. One is a little darker than the other, but here we go. Some peat. A lot of grain, you know. I prefer Scotch. Scotch or Irish whiskey? It's hard to say because I haven't really tried too much Irish whiskey, but it's not peaty. You know, I guess I prefer the Scotch with the peat notes and everything, more of that compost like you get from a garden. So yeah, but I like Irish, but I just don't buy it. After your whiskey tasting, do you go back in bed? Do you take a nap sometimes? I never go back to bed. I'm going to go to church, but I'll take a nap after I eat lunch. If I'm full, you know, I might lay down, but if I fall asleep for 10 minutes, that's a long time. You know, that's really what I do. So yeah, this smells kind of like grain alcohol, but it's not bad. It's kind of sweet, kind of mellow, just kind of regular. Sustained popularity is usually an indication of quality. Usually, yeah, usually like whiskey and some toast. Sounds good. Okay. Now this one smells very bland. The aroma on this one is just like neutral cereal grains, okay? Like literally you poured a box of some adult cold cereal, you know, the kind that's made for the older people. You say you mean like yourself? Yeah, you know, like children would hate it. You know, a child, it's at the very top shelf on the cereal aisle because kids would never ask for it anyway. They put the clowns and the rodeo and the horses, you know, the cartoon horses at the bottom, so the kids will cry for the cereal. Sup, Ron? Just doing a whiskey review of Voltron. Thanks. So that's what this smells like: multi-grain, old people cereal. Okay. So already I can tell you which is which. If I'm wrong here, I'm crazy, but I know I'm not crazy. This is the King Robert II, which is just about as bland as anything. You never heard me say bad. I say bland. That's why it's $18.99 for a big jug bottle. And that's why this one's 40 something for a big jug bottle. All right. Do you own a Glencairn glass? I had 4 of them, but I broke 3 of them. They're so flimsy. I'm not paying. Sazerac House had them. $18 a glass? No. I'm not paying $18 for any glass. Okay, tasting time. I'm running out of time. I want to watch the news. Baby. Oh, wow, I almost looked at the label. I don't even need labels here. Why did I even waste time putting a label? It's not, I knew it wasn't going to be a challenge. It's just going to be a tasting. You know, I mean, I mixed them up for what it's worth, but there's no way you're going to mix Johnnie Walker up. You're not going to get them confused. That cannot happen. Unless you never tasted either one before and you don't know what they're supposed to taste like. It just tastes like cereal grain. I told you it smelled like that and it tastes like that. I mean, it doesn't taste bad, but I wouldn't like tell somebody, oh yeah, you just got to try this. I mean, I wouldn't tell them that because it's not true. I mean, King Robert II, I mean, you could try it if you want, but there's a lot of cheap scotches you can get, like Inverhouse, or I don't know. You see all those brands I've got that are inexpensive. JW Dant. I think JW Dant might have more flavor than this, and that's $8.99 a liter. This. It's just basic. I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot of character. You ever had a bad nightmare after drinking? No. I paid $16 for mine. Look, I got 20. The other 2 I got from Goodwill. Yeah, if I could get a good price, I'd buy it, but I'm not paying $18. I have a Jansen blend right now. Oh, okay. Oh, Janacisi. I never heard it. A website called Pretentious Beer Glasses sells glasses for $50. Absolutely nuts. Hey, but if people want to pay that, I don't care if they pay $500 for a beer glass or a whiskey glass. Doesn't, you know what I'm saying? As long as it's not my money, do what you want. It's so much of a mismatch here, and I have a feeling almost every one of these taste challenges is going to be like this. That Johnnie Walker's just going to stand them and knock them down, stand them up and knock them down. Buchanan's, now that's going to be a challenge. Buchanan's and Johnnie Walker, okay, that's a 12-year age, so that's not really a fair challenge. They're both from Diageo. But I think that the Johnnie Walker Red Label is so good, even though it's only 3 years old, it's so good that it can match up with the Buchanan's 12-year age. You say, nah, you're crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. So much smoke, rich peat. Grain whiskey, yeah, well, it's blended. What do you think? It's got grain whiskey in it, but it's good. The whole thing is good. Like every sip from front to middle to end of the sip is good. It has so much character. It's like a tunnel of smoke. I said that before. Like Bruce Springsteen would say, a tunnel of smoke. All right, so it's just hitting everywhere. Like every flavor and aroma note and body and the lingering finish, like they say, just all positive, all positive. King Robert II, boom. Be careful of Corona, right? There's nothing we can do about it. Pray, try to be safe, you know. There is a little peatiness here, but not really much. There's smoke. No, I don't get it. Now, I did pick up smoke when I was comparing this to Highland Mist, but Highland Mist is so bland. Of course, this is going to taste smoky compared to Highland Mist. But Highland Mist was $6.49 for a bottle. I mean, you know, we're talking about the cheapest of the cheap. And they actually used to have magazine ads for that stuff. You say, really? Yeah. Oh, well, so much for this challenge. Yeah, let me just take the tags off. What's the purpose of even having them on here for this? I mean, I'm going to put them, I'm going to make new tags for the next, because against Buchanan's and J&B, you know, J&B, Buchanan's, yeah, I'm going to need tags because that's going to be tough. Cutty Sark will be a challenge, but Cutty Sark's not smoky enough. It's more bready, though. I think Cutty Sark, I can't back this up. To me, it seems like Cutty Sark has more malt whiskey in it because it's very doughy. But still, I'm not going to mix Cutty. I'm not going to confuse Cutty Sark with Johnnie Walker Red. I'm never going to confuse it. But for the other ones, the other scotches I have, like Scoresby and stuff like that, forget it. Now, if there's any cheap scotch that can compete with Johnnie Walker Red, you know what it is. It's the 100 Pipers, Seagram's 100 Pipers. That one is going to be tricky. You say, yeah, that thing's $8.99 a bottle. I don't care if it's 89 cents a bottle. That stuff is a performer. I'm telling you right now, 100 Pipers performs so far above its price point. It's beyond belief. Like this Johnnie Walker Red label. It's $22 a bottle. It tastes way more expensive than $22 a bottle. You know, I mean, it's just elevated. Now, there's a 12-year-old 100 Pipers, but I have never seen it, but I'd buy it in a hot second. I mean, you know, if the price was sipping while watching the news. Yeah, and looking through the newspaper. Are you going to continue sipping after the live stream? Yeah. I mean, I'm going to sip what's in these glasses. I'm not pouring more of it, if that's what you mean. Am I in the church choir? No. People told me that you ought to join the choir because you have a good voice. But I never did it, you know. When I was a child, you know, the children's choir. But oh, well, that's it. Johnnie Walker is the clear winner. I mean, it's not even, there's no question here. It's so good. I'm a big fan. Now, could that change, like if I try the black and the double black and the green and the platinum and the blue? Well, yeah. They'll probably be way better and make this one look shabby. All right. We have mass at 7:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m., 5:30 p.m., 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. So there's a lot of options, you know, but I'd rather go early. You know, you hate to say get it over with. That's not really the attitude. But I just like to do things and get them over with. In other words, I'd rather do things earlier than late. You know what I'm saying? Like just do things. I don't like to wait around for stuff. It drives me crazy. Like if I got to go to a Knights of Columbus meeting at 7 o'clock at night, it's like I'm sitting around all day waiting to go to this meeting. I was like, why can't have the meetings at 8 in the morning? Well, of course, you know, nobody would go. I would, but so I just hate waiting around. Like if I got to go to a baseball game at 6 o'clock at night, it's like you're waiting around. But then I could go drive to the town where the game is and go look around and do other things. It's not as much, it's not as tedious. It's like waiting around for a Knights of Columbus meeting at 6, 7 o'clock at night. So like if I had to wait around to go to church, you know, at 7 o'clock at night, which I've gone to mass many times at night, but I just can't stand waiting around. All right. Red Label is good for the buck. Yeah. Why do people worry about my drinking habits? I think that some people are just hateful in many cases. And then other people are, they have their own problems. And, you know, they use projection, which is a type of denial. And you know what projection is? When you accuse people of what you're doing. You project your problems on other people when it's actually them, you see. I try to be responsible. Ron's content creator and not an alcoholic like some of you, says Blue Ribbons. Yeah. So that's a defense mechanism people use, projection. They'll say, oh, you're an alcoholic, you drink a lot. I'm not saying they say that to me, but I've had, when the real answer is no, they're an alcoholic. And, you know, misery loves company. And they want other people to identify with them and say, yeah, that's true, so that they'll feel better. Or you're jealous, you're jealous. But usually it's them that's jealous. You know, I'm not jealous. I don't care if you bought a new car, but you're jealous. Ron, okay, I like the fact that you're an early bird. Yeah, I always did wake up early. Okay, that's it. I'm going to watch the news, babe. Y'all have a good day. We'll be back at 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern for Stout Sunday. So on Johnny Neely's channel, go watch Stout Sunday. You only make a review of maybe one bottle. You don't sit and drink a whole pack. Nope, I sure don't. Do you prefer CNN or Fox? Oh, well, I watched Fox for 2 straight years. And then last year I said, I'm going to watch CNN. No, I'm sorry, backwards. I watched CNN for 2 straight years. And then I said, now I'm going to watch Fox for 2 straight years. So I've been watching Fox for 2 straight years. I mean, I don't think either one is too good, honestly. Jacob Downey, cheers. Cheers to you, Jacob. Later, y'all.